time to round up another big headline from the week now. A new report shows Texas is denying children of illegal immigrants born in the U.S. birth certificates. In May, 4 women filed a civil rights lawsuit against the Texas Department of State Health Services. According to the lawsuit, the women who requested birth certificates for their children in Cameron and Hidalgo counties were turned away because of insufficient proof of their identities. Officials say the state does not accept a photo ID issued by the Mexican consulate to Mexican nationals living in the U.S. So why the rash of refusals? Children of immigrants denied birth certificates is our topic this half hour, and we want to hear from you on our Fox 26 Facebook page. You can also weigh in on Twitter. Be sure to use the hashtag Fox26forlife. Joining us live in the newsroom is our Roundup panel. It's led by our senior legal analyst, Chris Tritico, our news analyst, Mustafa Tamiz, and public policy analyst, Jackie Bally. Good to see you again, guys.
Good morning.
All right, so children of immigrants born in the U.S., aren't they entitled to birth certificates?
Absolutely. The 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution, which was passed a very, very long time ago, right when slavery was abandoned, says that if you're born in the United States of America, you are a citizen of this country, and as a result of that, they are entitled to get a birth certificate issued by the state by which they were born in. And so this sudden movement by Texas to refuse these birth certificates is really a civil rights violation for these children who were born in the United States. And I saw an interview yesterday of the lawyer who filed this lawsuit, and the question was, weren't these people just anchor babies? They come across the border, have the baby. And he said, no, most of the plaintiffs in this case have been here for over 10 years and have had other children here, and they use the same documents that are denied now to get those children birth certificates. Jackie Bally, isn't this a direct violation of the 14th Amendment?
Well, I think what you're seeing is an influx of because we've had so many illegals coming in, you're seeing not just Texas, but you're seeing other states. They're also denying. They're not using this particular document anymore. You're seeing a couple of federal agencies not using this document. So because of the influx of so many illegals, some people are saying this is the best way we can try to manage what's going on. And in the case of this particular, the gentleman said that they were here 10 years. If they were here 10 years, then they should have the required documents that the state has, or the documents that the state requires.
I didn't say they were legal. I said they've been here 10 years. Okay,
well, I guess, again, that's the question, not being
right.
legal. And then, you know, another thing that you talked about was when this first came up many years ago, when this law came into place, we all assumed that the people or the kids who were born here would be from immigrants who came here legally, not immigrants who came here illegally. And that's really where the issue is. So where this is going to go, a lot of us don't know.
Well, that actually wasn't the basis of the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment was passed to ensure that freed slaves could be made citizens and not interfered with by the states. Isn't this a direct violation of the 14th Amendment?
And the challenge is that if individual state and state agencies start interpreting the 14th Amendment the way they want, so in the South, they start denying citizenships to people that were born in this country of undocumented parents. In the North, what you might have is Senator Ted Cruz might not be able to run for the president because they may say, because he was born in Canada, he's not an American. So this narrow interpretation of our Constitution by individual states doesn't work, and we should stop doing it.
Now, but states have the right to make that initial assessment, don't they? And then that's what the Supreme Court and the federal courts are for.
The states don't have that right to make that assessment because you can prove the fact that they were born in that state, right? Asking the documentation of the parents is a really secondary issue. You have hospital records that say the child was born in the United States. You have to issue them the citizenship.
What about that? Just ask the question.
Sure.
If they can prove this baby was born in this hospital, give them a birth certificate. What's the problem with that?
Well, I do believe that it is a states' rights issue, and the state has the right to determine what documents they will accept and what documents they won't accept. And your point about the 14th Amendment and slaves is really proving my point, because slaves came here against their own will, but they came here because of their owners brought them here. These people are breaking the laws when they come here, and they're trying to use the laws that were made for slaves to apply to them, and it doesn't work that way.
Well, except there's no distinction drawn within the 14th Amendment, though, is there?
Well, no, there isn't, because we assumed that people who came here legally.
What about that?
Well, I mean, I think then California and New York and then look at the 14th Amendment and say, well, since Ted Cruz wasn't born in the United States, he was born over there, we're going to interpret that he's not a United States citizen, therefore he can't run for president.
Right.
That's ludicrous, just the way this is.
All right, let me go to Sally. You know, what's the state of Texas saying about this, Sally?
Yeah, well, I've pulled up the comment, the quote from the state here, so we can take a look at that for you. This is a written statement from the press officer for the Texas Department of State Health Services, and he says in the middle of your page there where it says update, he says that the state accepts a variety of documents to verify identification, but they have decided not to honor one specific document, and that's the official photo ID issued by the Mexican consulates to Mexican nationals in the U.S. And so there's some confusion over why the state has stopped accepting this particular form of ID.
And the problem I think that we're seeing, Sally, is they used to accept these documents, and this is a recent change. The state hasn't said when they made the change, but this is a recent change that they will not accept these documents that come from the Mexican consulate. And the plaintiffs in this case have other children who have birth certificates that were verified by this same document. What's the justification by the state now?
I believe one of the things that they said is that there was no way to check the verification of those actual documents. And I don't know if Sally read that, but in a statement that I read from the state, said that. Sorry,
I think what they said was that the Mexican consulate doesn't verify, and therefore we're not going to use it. I think.
So how do we know if it's legitimate? But again, if the plaintiffs if they've been here 10 years, and we don't know if they're legal or not, but if they've been here 10 years, they should have other documents, the other documents that the state requires for them to have.
What about that?
But we know that they're undocumented. I mean, they're saying that they're undocumented. Right. But the hospital records, which should be the basis of the citizenship for these kids, is unquestionable. They were born in the United States. They were born in this hospital. So this is kind of like a trivial point that we're bringing up as a state, which can cause real problems on a number of different issues.
So what's the purpose then?
Well, the purpose basically is to make a point about immigration. So what I would say is the people that are advocating for these kids not to get a citizenship, pass comprehensive immigration reform. Call your congressman.
Is it worth the money the state's going to have to spend to defend this civil rights suit?
But it's not just this state. It's other states and other federal agencies are doing it too. So even Obama's administration is doing it.
Certain agencies, I agree.
So, you know, this fight is coming, and because of the influx of so many illegals coming here, we really don't have a choice.
All right, we're going to leave it right there. We'll be back in about 20 minutes with another really good story.
Okay, look forward to seeing y'all then. Let's send it over to Lindsay for a check of your Sunday forecast.